Good morning.
Good morning. Oh,
Shalom there.
yeah.
These are all night learning last night.
Hey, Shalom. Good morning.
Good
Morning, Shalom.
Okay. Holding on page 91, that's Tzaddik Aleph. Thank Hashem that you're able to learn Torah every day. For learning, we should have a some English immediately. Learning the Nishmas, Avadol the Basbar Binyamin, and Salasab ben Messiah. For Shleim, for Akim David ben Sarah, and Gedali get to the Elias ben Fegit. Okay, we're holding by a Tanur Rabbanu, it's about 6 lines down from the top on 91. Tzaddik Aleph Amud Aleph. Tanur Rabbanu was taught in a brisa. A mishtakrin hamayim bebeitzim. Someone selling eggs can't earn twice. I'm going to see what that means in a moment. Amar Mari Bar Mari. It's an interesting name. Pligi Bar Rav Shmuel. Machlekes Rav and Shmuel, what this means. Chad Amar al Chad Trey. One says that you can't sell an egg for double the price. Now, we learned that you can't sell something for more than a sixth. Taisvus asked this. Taisvus says two answers. First one is that even though you put effort in, when you put effort in, you're allowed to charge for the labor. So you can charge more than a sixth. But here, even though you put effort in, you can't charge more than double. The next thing is the Rashba, which is not the Rashba, the Spanish Rashba. This is the Balatasis Rashba. He writes, here we're talking about when it's your own chickens. When we said that you can't earn more than a sixth, that's when you're buying something, when you're a merchant, you're buying and selling. But if it's your own items, you're allowed to sell them for whatever price you want. It's just when you buy from a wholesaler and you want to sell it retail, that your profit is limited to a sixth. But if it's things that you grew, that you can sell even higher than a sixth. So, but nevertheless, you can't sell more than double if it's eggs. Okay, eggs are like in the middle. It is a necessity. It's not a necessity. It's somewhere in the middle over here. It's not just a luxury, but it's also not it's not like bread. Okay. The other opinion says, it doesn't tell us who holds what. Taga tagra. What does it mean that you can't sell it twice? Well, you can't sell double. That means that you can't, the wholesaler can't sell it to a retail. It's supposed to go directly to the consumer. You don't make double you don't have an extra middleman. So you go to, as I guess whoever goes around the farm, either you buy it from the farm, or someone goes around to the farms to collect the eggs. He sells it directly to the homeowners instead of to a store, which then sells it to the homeowners. Yeah. Tanur Rabbanan, starting a brisa. Masriyan al parkamatya afilu b'Shabbos. We have a concern if the price of merchandise goes down, so then the merchants won't be able to make a profit. So that's such a concern for us that we'll even gather people together on Shabbos to daven for this problem. Well, I don't know, something similar to that today. What would be what is everyone selling that would be a problem? Bitcoin.
Yep.
Was the question if something went down low enough?
This would be like the stock market drops. So then everyone, you can daven for that even on Shabbos. Rabbi Yochanan, give me an example. Kagain, Rabbi Yochanan says, in klei pishtan beBavel, if it's linen clothing in Bavel, which apparently that was what everyone made their money off, and the yain v'shem beretz Yisrael, and wine and oil in Israel, that would be something that
even though normally on Shabbos we don't daven for our needs, we just praise Hashem. We don't put in our personal needs in the prayers. So the Shemona Esrei is smaller. So, but this is such a problem that we could daven even on Shabbos. Amar Rabbi Yosef says, "V'hu dizol v'kam asara b'shita." This is only if the price drops so much that what was worth 10 is now worth 6. This is like I don't know how that works with the stock market. Points, does it work by points or things or something? 40% drop.
No.
Okay. Rabbanan. Starting a Bryce in Yesim Meir, Elim Kenam Dus Sasayim Besela. You're not allowed to leave the land of Israel to go to Chutz La'aretz unless the price of food has gone up from it's usually 4 sa per sela. Now it went up to 2 sa per sela. So if the price of food doubled, okay, you can leave Israel. Rab Shimon says, Eid Masai, when do we say this? That's only in Bisman Shein Maitzalika. Not only did the price double, but there's also no food available. But if there's food available, even if 1 sa cost the seller, even if it went up, the price went up not just 100%, 200%, right? I'm sorry? It used to be 4 sa per seller. And then it went to 2 sa. Now it's even if it's 1 sa. So is that 200%? Okay, so then you still can't leave if there's available. Now Taisa says, I don't get it. So why do I need the part of the price change? If there's nothing available, you could leave anyway. There's no food available. Yeah, I don't see it. He doesn't say an answer.
Well,
Why was that?
I thought it was saying that you can leave because of inflation, but you can't leave because of famine.
No, I was understanding that inflation is not enough. This is what Reb Shimon adds in. So the Brisa says inflation, you could leave.
Right.
Reb Shimon says, no, that's only if there's also a famine. There's no food available. So the question Taisvis asks, so 1 second, if there's no food, then you could leave anyway. What does that have to do with inflation? If there's nothing to buy, then who cares about the price of it?
The food can be cheap, but you may not have money.
No. We're going to see something like that soon. It's going to come up soon. There was an old guy in Shillabel Harbor. I don't remember his name, but he told me about the different stock crashes. He lost money here, lost money there. He told me, I don't remember which time. He was telling me about 1929 or something. I don't know. But he told me he had real estate. He owned real estate. And he said I would have given away a building for a sandwich. That's how bad it was.
Serving coming right up, sir.
Usually that's what it is. Things just get crazy at the price.
Right. Okay. V'chein haya Rav Shimon ben Yochai Yomer. Rav Shimon ben Yochai say, Elimelech Machlein v'chilyin gedolei hadar hayu. Parnasei hadar hayu. They were the great people of the generation, and they were the, how do they translate Parnas? Caretakers of the generation. Why were they punished? They died, right? Because they left the land of Israel. Now, it's not telling me exactly. I guess it's saying these are the. You remember Nami and Rus? Remember the book of Ruth? So her, the husbands of the 2 Moabite women and Nami's husband, their father, they died. Why did they die? Because they left the land of Israel. Now, Reb Shimon ben Yochai, who was talking before, he said that if there's still food, then you're not allowed to leave, and they left, and it looks like there was still food. Shenemar, Batem Kol Yer Aleim, Batemar Nazais Nami, it says that the whole city was shocked. When they said, is this Nami? This is when they come back to the land.
This is where the Rambam gets the issue of the Eretz Yisrael. It's well in the Kodesh. Or is this-
The Ramban.
What's
Ramban. He also said it's a mitzvah.
Not all of our.
I forget, is it the Ramban or is it Rash? Anyway, that they get from Pasuk Bahirashtem or something. You will settle the land. It's
But there's some people that may differ.
some people hold that maybe it's not the biblical law, but that wording doesn't mean it will settle, it means you will chase out. It's this about that.
Because otherwise, these people that were.
Right. Well, there's also certain things. Where's the end of Ksubas? Like 110 there. So it talks about staying in Bavel, not going to the land of Israel. A bunch of things that you're allowed to leave, to marry, to study Torah, and for Nafsa. Yeah. There's an opinion that says that if you move to the land of Israel and you're living on an American salary, you're not really following the mitzvah. You have to live off the land, not get paid in America by American companies. You're not living from the land. Anyway, okay, that's what everyone wants to do. Go to Israel and get an American salary, and okay. So, my hazais nami. What does it mean? Is this Nami? Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Amro, they said, Chazisim Nami. Have you seen Nami? She left Israel to go to Moab. And look at what happened to her. What did she gain? It's a play on the word hazais, that if you change the hey to a ches, it becomes chazais or something. That means to see. Chazi means to see. And so they were saying, you've seen what happened to Nami? That seems like the way the Gemara is putting it here is that the sin was that they left at a time when they weren't supposed to leave. They weren't supposed to leave because there was still food. At least that's what it seems. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Oh, that's another point. Yeah, it says in the Medrash that they didn't want to give. People were kept asking them. Doesn't say that here though. But do you have that in the comments? No. Then our Gemara says, seems like they left when they weren't supposed to. I think some commentaries learn this, that they were actually allowed to leave, but they should have done the Fnimisher Sadin and not left anyway. That's what some commentaries say. But the simple reading of this Gemara looks like the flow of it looks like that they left at a time when they weren't supposed to. The exact day that Rus, the Moabite, comes to Israel, that's the day that the wife of Boaz died. This is what people say, before the person already died, before the person even dies, there's already a new person in charge of the house. Rashbam says, "Makdim refuah l'maka." Hashem prepares the antidote before the punishment. The person just has to trust in Hashem. Yeah, maybe that's the pshat why everyone was shocked. They were going to the funeral, and they see the new wife already showing up. That's a little surprise. Hashem supplied the Rus for Boaz. Amar Rabba bar Huna, Amar Rav. That would be that the people were all prophets and they knew that Rus was gonna be the was gonna be the wife. We didn't know that till the ground floor, there's that whole story. Okay, Amar Rabba bar Huna, Amar Rav. Daled. Rabbi Bar Yitzchak Amarav. All right. Ivtzan Zabayas. Ivtzan is one of the judges in the book of Shoftim. The book of Shoftim, we have like the major stories, and then you have the minor stories. You know, like the major stories of Shimshon and I don't know, Yiftach. There's big stories. Devorah, right? But then you have in there it says, okay, he ruled for 6 years, he ruled for 10 years, he ruled for it has like some list. One of those in there, it says that there was a judge, his name was Yivtzan, and it doesn't really tell us much about him. It says he had 30 sons and 30 daughters. That's like the whole story. And he ruled for, I forget, 7 years, 10 years or something. And that, okay, two verses in there. So the Gemara says, oh, that's by us. Okay. My Kamashmalan, what are you trying to tell me? It's actually supporting another statement of Rabbi Baravun. Because they say that he made 120 parties for his son, for his children. As it says in the book of Shoftim, he had 30 sons and 30 daughters. Shalach achutza, I guess it goes like this. Shalish banish shalach achutza. The 30 daughters he sent out. Ushleishim banish hevi lebanim min achutz, and he brought 30 girls from the outside. The Yishbet is shel sheva shanim. He ruled Israel for 7 years. He made 2 parties for each one. Echad bebeis aviv, echad beis chama. What happened was he had 30 sons. So he brought 30 daughters-in-law from the outside. A lot of shidduchim to worry about. And then I think at that point you don't do any research. You just okay, you're ready. Just no phone calls. And then he had 30 girls that he just married them off. In each one he made 2 parties. One would be in his house, while the boy. How would he do it? The girl would still be in his house. Probably the Sudas Erisin, the first one would probably be in his house, and then the Sudas Nasuin would be in the father-in-law's house. So the first would be probably in the girl's house, and then it would be in the. So there were two feasts for every marriage. Yeah, interesting. Rashbam writes. What about the 7 days of what's it called? Sheva Bracha. He says, oh, that's all part of the marriage. It's just like one long party. All 7 days. That's counted as one party. The other party, the Erisin, I don't know how long that lasted, but that was the other party.
The girls from abroad? Yeah, they get them from abroad, right?
And it doesn't mean abroad. It just means from outside. You mean are they saying that he came from outside the land of Israel? It says hachutza. It means from outside his house. It means they went as had to bring new people in.
Translation is abroad in English.
What do you have? Do you have that he brought them from abroad? You have the same, but sorry.
Did they have Sheva Brachas?
Yeah, they had Sheva Brachas. Yeah. From abroad for his son. Sounds like they from the translations. It sounds like they're coming from outside the land of Israel. They're coming from abroad. That's what it says. Does that have to mean from outside the country, abroad?
No comment. No comment on that word.
So it seems.
I didn't read that just from the simple text. I didn't understand that like that. I didn't look at any commentaries. Menachutz means outside his household.
Because then that means the second party is in the house of the girl. She's abroad.
I don't know. Okay.
Did they have Sheva Brachas?
Yeah.
It took her 420 days.
You hear our accountant Shalom is telling you how many days of Sheva Brachas they had. They had Sheva Brachas for over a year.
That's
my
boy.
That's Shalom.
You know how many family businesses you have to support all those kids?
Why is that? Because it was one Sheva Brachas after another.
If that's how they got married, then it would be
Maybe it was
every
just all at
7
once.
days. No, you're not supposed to mix simcha. You're not even simcha. Simcha. They would have to do it separate. Yeah, that's a big question. How Shlomo Melech had all
Would be the
those
label, right?
Sheva brachas. Would be I don't know how many years it would be to 1,000. Well, even if let's say the 700. How many did he have? How many concubines?
What wives are 1,000?
What does it say? No. How many wives did he have?
7.
1,000, but some of them were concubines. So maybe there was no. Maybe they don't do Sheva brachas for them.
Community can't have two Shabbat brothers.
A field trip, time machine field trip.
Community can, but this one family can't do it together. They can't say, okay, we'll just do a community,
Okay.
all 30, all 60 kids. Okay. Now there was a person, his name was Manayach. He was the father of Shimshon. Now Shimshon, they didn't have any children before that, right? There was the angel comes and says that they're going to have a son. Well, he didn't invite Manoach to any of those parties. No, the mother was named.
Oh.
And Amar, he said, Kudna Akra b'may parli. He's a sterile mule. How's he going to pay me back? Which means that when you invite to a wedding, the other person invites you back. That's like it goes some reciprocation. So he didn't invite her. How was he going to? Maybe because he would feel bad that he wouldn't be able to. He was concerned about him feeling bad. So it says all 60 children died in Boaz's lifetime. That's what people say. In your lifetime that you give birth to 60, what do you need the 60? You should return and marry one. I'm sorry, return and give birth to one. The mishitin zaros that will be stronger than the 60. One that survives is better than 60 that don't survive. Now, who's that one? So, two interpretations here. One is that it's Boaz is referring to Boaz that had 60 sons that all passed away, 60 children that all passed away, 30 and 30. And then he marries Rus, and he has one son, Oived, that has that's the father of Yishai, that's the father of David. That one is better than all the 60 that didn't survive, right? Sort of like the Rabbi Akiva story with the students, the 24,000, and then he has 5. Other interpretation is that he didn't invite Manayach, and Manayach's son, Shimshon, was better than all of his 60. He was so concerned Manayach doesn't have a child, and Manayach had one child that was better than all of the 60. That would be the other interpretation. I think the Rashbam rejected that. Yeah, V'lei Nehira. He doesn't accept that. V'lei Nehira Klal, he says. Okay. Simon, we have a mnemonic here. Melech Avram Eser Shanim Shnifter. It's Nasal Vadi. Amar Rav Chanan bar Rava. Amar Rav. Rav Chanan bar Rava says the name of Rav. I actually think he's a son-in-law of Rav. Rav Chanan bar Rava. He is definitely a student of Rav. Elimelech, V'Salmain, Pliny Almaini, Vavinami, Kulam b'nei Nachshon ben Aminadav. Now, okay, so Elimelech was the father of Machlin and Chilion. Elimelech was the husband of Nami that leaves the land of Israel, right? Because of the famine. Yeah. Then you have Salmain, which is the father of Boaz. So Boaz is a nephew of Elimelech. Then you have Pliny Almaini. He was the one that doesn't want to do the redemption of the land when Rus comes back. His name was Pliny Almaini. And Avinami. And then there was Nami's father. So interesting. So Nami ended up marrying her uncle, Elimelech. Did you know that? That Nami was married to her uncle? That's allowed, right? Allowed to marry your uncle. Can't marry an aunt, not marry an uncle. Boys can't marry their uncles for two reasons.
Okay. Okay. So all of them are Kulam b'nei Nachshon ben Aminadavim. They're all children of Nachshon ben Aminadav. Okay, Micah Mashmalan, what's your point? What are you trying to tell me? Point is, Shafil Misheyesh le'Zchosav any medicine b'Shashiet Meretz l'Chutzlaretz. Point is that even if you have big yichus, good, great lineage, but it only helps if you're in the land of Israel. Once you leave the land of Israel, then that merit drops. It doesn't work the same. That's why they died. Well, it looks like maybe it wasn't because of sin. Maybe there was no sin. And we were saying before that the sin was that they left in the time when they weren't supposed to. The only detail in there is that it didn't tell us what the real price was, how much food there was. That detail was left out. So maybe they were allowed, but here it's saying that they didn't have the ancestral protection. Amrav Chanan Barava Amarav. Look at this Gemara. This is where you the kids get prizes in yeshiva when they know these trivia questions. You ready?
Yep.
Goes like this. Amy Avram, what's Avram's mother's name? Amasla bas Karnavai. Name was Amaslai. Amaslai, the daughter of Karnavai. Amy the Haman, what's Haman's mother's name? We know his father is Haman ben Amdasa. We know Avram's father was Terah, but we didn't know his mother. Amy the Haman was Amaslai bas Orvati. They had the same first name, Amaslai. It was the last name that was different. The daughter of Orvati. The Simanach, if you want to remember who's who, Tame Tame Tar Tar. The impure one is impure, and the pure one is pure. Now, the impure one, the Erev, is a raven. It sounds like Haman's grandmother's name, maybe grandfather, Orvati, and that's a raven. That's a non-kosher bird. And Avram was Karnavai, and Kar could be another word for sheep. Karim, and Karim is Karim b'nei Bashan.
Haman was compared to Abraham.
They have the same mother, the same name. Their mothers have the same name. Yeah. Asking like, what's the significance of their mothers having the same name? Whatever the case is, Amy de David. What's David's mother's name? His father's name was Ishai. What's his mother's name? Natsvas bas Adal Shma. Her name was Natsvas. I think maybe Nitzeves. I think the name Nitzeves is like Nats is supposed to be. Amy the Shimshon. What was Shimshon's mother's name? The father was Manayach, right? What was his wife? Tlalfunis. Va'achte, and his sister's name, Nashyan. Was Nashyan. Okay, the Gemara says, "L'may nafkamina." Like, why does this really matter? It matters if you get locked out from your credit card and they ask you, these security questions.
Yeah.
So, l'may nafkamina. What's the difference? It says l'tshuvas aminim, that we should be able to tell the heretics that we have more information because these stories are ours and we have like traditional information. Okay, Amarav Chanan Barava Amarav Eser Shanim Nechbash Avram Avinu. 10 years Avram Avinu was in prison. Who put him in prison? Nimrod. However, there's another interpretation that his father put him in prison because he was destroying the idols. Okay. Shalish Bekuta Vesheva Bekardu. 3 years he was held in Kuta and 7 years in Kardu. Well, Rav Dimi Minardai Masniepfa, he has it the opposite, which means he had 7 years in Kuta and 3 years in Kardu instead of 3 years in Kuta and 7 years in Kardu. Okay, where are those places? Somewhere in Mesopotamia. They have like the historians that have the names of those places. Was Ur,
and Sumar and Ur and all that stuff. But anyway, I think they got the Ur from the Ur custom. But our tradition is, according to this Gemara, that the name of the place was actually Kuta, and Ur was just because of the furnace. It just got a name because there was a furnace there. But that wasn't the name of the city. Yeah. Amar Rav Chisda, let's see. Ibra Zeira de Kuta Zeu or custom. There's a small, what is that? A bridge or something? Ibra Zeira, small bridge, which is called Orkastim. In Kuta, which was called Orkastim. That's where Avraham Avinu was thrown. Is that what it's called? What it says? It's a small bridge. One second, before that. Before that, one line before that. The region of Ivra Zeira of Kuta is identical with Orkastim. Oh, that's the name of it. Oh, okay. I thought that meant the small bridge. What's 31? Nimrod had Avram cast in the fiery kiln for choosing technology and deities. A miracle occurred and Avram emerged unscathed. Okay. The point of this identification is that anyone who sees Ivra Zeira to make the following blessing. Okay. That's the Rashbam adds in that this is the significance of this is to, if you get there, you should make the blessing of who performed miracles for our Father.
No, that is today.
I think there is they have a tradition there. They have a tradition in that city. Where's Avram was born? I think they have a tradition.
You asked where it is today. It's on the southernmost portion of Iraq.
Oh, that narrows it down.
The ruins
That
of
narrows it down.
Orkastim.
Yeah.
According to the Mesopotamia map superimposed by the
Right.
It narrows it
lower
down.
Iraq.
Lower Iraq.
Narrows it down.
I know. They said after Entebbe. So there was a discussion amongst the Satmar type people said that it's all the miracles of Israel is really like Satan is involved. It's just to confuse you or whatever. And everyone else said, "Oh, it's a miracle from Hashem." And so someone said, they asked the Rav, "Is it a miracle?" So he didn't want to get involved in this conflict. They said, "What's the difference?" He says, "Well, I want to know if I should say the bracha if I get to Uganda. Where was it? Uganda. Get to Uganda. Should I say the bracha who performed the miracle in this place?" So he said, "When you get there, call me." Okay, call me collect. He said. And today they don't know what collect means. Call me collect. Amar Rav Chanan bar Rav Amar Rav. Eisya Yom Shniftar Avram Avinu Menailam. The day that Avram Avinu passed away, Amdu Kol Gedalim Maselim B'Shura. All the great people of the world, they stood in a line. The Shura is the line of comforting. They said, "Ailanu Lailam Shavad Manhiga." Woe to the world that lost its director. Lailam Sfina Shavad Kabrinita, and woe to the ship that lost its captain. Kabrinta. Okay, V'Masnasi L'Chol Reish. We quote a pasuk that we actually say in davening, who's exalted above everyone. Now there's a word in there, L'Kol. Masnasi L'Kol L'Reish. It's like a double expression. Masnasi L'Kol, exalted above all as a head. Amar Rav Chanan bar Rava, Amar Rav Chanan bar Rava. It says the name of Rav. It says Afilu Reish Gargusa Mishmaya Mukmila. Even a small position, be in charge of the water. Who's gonna draw water today? Which sounds like to be on the president of the board of the building association. That even that position is appointed by Hashem. Everything.
It's interesting that the word kol, which means more inclusive, we have the ba kol, the mi kol, the kol, and now la kol, that how adding a little letter changes the all inclusive.
Yeah.
Or the interpreter.
Right.
Coca-Cola.
I think everyone's seen it.
Thought you would like that. Amr Rav Chia Barav and Amr Rabbi Shua ben Karcha. Chia Barav says the name of Rabbi Shua ben Karcha. Chas v'shalom. Shafilu matzah subin layatzu. Okay, he's going back on the family of Rus. It says they didn't leave. They didn't leave because of sin. They was, if they even would have had bran over there, they wouldn't have left. So they left. It was totally permissible. Well, then why was it? Why were they punished if they were allowed to leave? We're talking about Machlan, Chilion, and Elimelech. The reason why is because they should have davened for their generation and they didn't daven. So that's held against them. When you cry out, you get saved. When you cry out to save others, you get saved, and they should have davened for the other people. Amar Rabba Bar Bachana Amar Rabbi Yechanan. Rabba Bar Bachana says the name of Rabbi Yechanan. When do we say that you're allowed to leave Israel? That's only if it's easy to make money. The only problem is that the food is so expensive. But if it's hard to earn money, then even if it's original price, the food is the regular price, then you still are allowed to leave because there's no income. It's hard to get money. Simon, there's another mnemonic here. Okay, Damar Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yechanan says, Nehirna, I remember, we have a few of these here. Kad havu kaimen arba'in sam besela. When there was a time when there was 4 sa for a sela, nefichi kafan betveria midles iser. And there were so many hungry in Tveria because they didn't have coins. So it was, even though the price was the same, but everyone was starving. I'm Rabbi Yechanan. Here I remember Kadlayavi Mitkarin Payalia, the Midnach Karta, Mireach Pita Maisen. He says, I remember when we couldn't get workers to go to the east of the city because of the smell of the bread that would come from the other side. Because they were so hungry, they couldn't smell they didn't want to smell the bread when they couldn't eat it. How do they translate Merech Pita Maisen? From the smell of bread, they would die. They would die from the smell of bread. Rabbi Yechanan says also, I remember that when a child would break open a carob, like the boxer, there would be a stream of honey that would drip down his 2 arms. You'd need a paper towel to eat that. Amar Rabbi says, I remember Karavinatul Urfa Bistra, when a raven would take meat, there would be a stream of oil, a line of oil from the top of the wall till the floor. So juicy it was, so fatty it was. This is real meat. This is not vegetarian meat. It's not tempeh.
Rabbi, the people who had swollen bellies because they had what? Did not have what?
Food. They were hungry.
Food or protein?
That just says food. They didn't have bread. We're talking about wheat.
Because that's my question. You see these pictures from Africa from many years ago. So there was 2 types of starvation. There was marasmus and kwashiorkor. Marasmus is starvation. So mostly in kids, and you see like the skinny, starved kids. Kwashiorkor is protein starvation. So because they have not enough protein, they third space, they end up with these swollen bellies. So the description in the Gemara of the swollen bellies is for protein starvation and not wheat. That's what why I raised the question.
Yeah.
And you need to fix that phone.
We just got a very interesting, what are the two words?
Marasmus.
Marasmus
Kwashiorkor.
and kwashiorkor.
Kwashiorkor.
Kwashiorkor is spelled with a Q,
K's.
with a K.
Did,
So
did
the two
someone
types
put did someone put a timer on?
Yeah, the timer buzzed already.
Yeah, timer went.
Okay. It's two types of starvation. One is general, and one is specifically for protein. Okay. Amar Rav Yochanan. Nihirna karav metailan talia v'talia sabashuka kvashis esrei kvar shevesrei leya v'chotin. Yochanan says, I remember when a boy and a girl would be in the marketplace, a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old, and they wouldn't sin. I think the commentaries associate this together. All that great richness from the fruits and from the carob and from the meat and all of that is associated with when the people were holier and they wouldn't sin. Then that's when they had. That's I think there's like they join that together. Rabbi Yochanan says in here, and I remember Karabi Amrin be Midrasha the Maidla Nafal be a Dayan the Misrachet Alein delay Dilahain. Rabbi Yochanan says that they would say in the Beis Medrash, I remember they would say that anyone that agrees to the non-Jews is just going to end up falling into their hands. What's it called? Pandering? Pandering. You say like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you do that. Okay, so then that's what you say that. Okay, you're going to fall into their hands. The Misrachet Alein, if you trust in them, then everything that's yours will be theirs. Basically, you have to be a strong Jew. It's written in the pasuk Machlin Mechilian Ksiv Yoyash v'Saraf. In Rus, it says that the names, these two sons of Elimelech and Nami, were Machlin and Kilian. And in Divrei Hayamim, in the book of Chronicles, it has different names for them. It says Yoyash and Saraf. Rav Shmuel says the Machlikas Rav and Shmuel. Chadam, one says Machlin and Kilian, one says that the actual name was Machlin and Kilian. So why in Chronicles was it different? Lamenek Shman Saraf is Yoyash. Why over there was it different? Yoyash, it was called Yoyash. That was just a nickname. Because he gave up from ever being from the redemption. That's why they moved away. And Saraf, and Saraf is because it was guilty to be burnt by Hashem. Chadam, the other one says Yoyash v'Saraf. No, that was their actual given names was Yoyash and Saraf. So why were they called Machlin and Kilian? Machlin Shasaguf and Chulin. Machlin because his body became mundane. What is that? Because he married a non-Jew probably. Kilian and Kilian is because he was deserving of being kloya, being destroyed by Hashem. Tanya Kamandam Machlin and Kilian. We have a brisa that supports the one that says that the actual names of Machlin and Kilian. The Tanya, it's brought in the brisa. Ma'idksiv v'yoikim v'anshe kuziva yoikim and anshe kuziva v'yoyash v'saraf and yoyash v'saraf asher bolu l'mayav that I guess that means that lived with Mayav. Yoshvi Lechem and those that settled in Lechem. Badvar Matikim, and the matter is ancient. Yoikim, who's Yoikim? Zay Yeshua. This is referring to Yeshua, Shekim Shmuel Anshi Given. He made a promise to the people of Given that he won't kill them. Anshi Kuziva, who are the people of Kuziva means like corruption. Elu Anshi Given, these are the people of Given. Because of Yeshua, they lied to Yeshua saying that they came from a faraway land, even though they were Canaanites. And the Yayish V'Saraf and Machlin Mechilian, that's Machlin Mechilian. When Lamesh Shman Yayish V'Saraf, why are they called Yayish V'Saraf? Yayish, they called Yayish and Yayish Minagula because they gave up from the redemption. And Saraf, he's called Saraf and Shayv V'Sreif L'Makayim because he's deserving of being burnt by Hashem. Shabbalah L'Mayav. They converted, I think so. What does it mean that they lived with Mayav? That means they married Mayavite women. They settled in Lechem. This is Rus that returned and settled, and she attached herself to Beis Lechem Yehuda. And the matter is ancient. And this is already said by Hashem, by the ancient. It says that I found my servant David. Your two daughters that are found. We're comparing the David to the two daughters that was already in Siddim. There's a comparison to David that was already said already from the comparison was there. These are the potters or something. Yeshvin at time they settled in tents. The Gadra, the Mamelech, the Malachtai, and they were surrounded with the king and at his work. Yashvasham they settled there. Hema Yitzrim, who the Yitzrim, Ela b'nei Nadav ben Rechav, Shenatzer Shvuas ben Rachav, Shenatzer Shvuas Aviyim. These are the b'nei Nadav that kept the oath to their father. Apparently, the Rachav's children made an oath that they won't drink wine and some other things, and they kept the oath. Yeshvin Atayim, they settled in tents. Shlomo, this is referring to Shlomo. We're going through some verses in Chronicles that have these names that we don't know what they mean. This is referring to King Solomon, that he was like planted in his kingdom. That means like everlasting. The Gadra, and it's like fenced in. So Sanhedrin, this is the Sanhedrin. Shagadra Pritzashem Shal Yisrael that fenced in breaches in Israel. Ima Melech ben Malachtai Yashvusham, together with the king and his work, they settled there. Zurusam Avia. This is Rus. Shirasa b'Malchus Shlomo ben Benai Shel ben Benai. This is Rus that was able to see King Solomon sitting in the throne. Shenemar b'Yashva b'Yasem Kisei le'Ima Melech. There was a chair next to King Solomon for the mother of the king, which is referring to Rus was able to sit there. That's in the book of Kings. Amar Rabbi Lazar Lima Shel Malchus. Rabbi Lazar explains this is the mother of the royalty. Now we finish off with the blessing over here. So they eat from the old crop without salmantin, which means that it's won't rot. My belay salmantin, what does it mean? Salmantin, it's not like salmonella, it won't rot. Rav Nachman Amar belay ritzinta, it means without worms. And Rav Sheshes Amar belay shadifa, without any blight or something. Tani Kavaseder Rav Sheshes, Tani Kavaseder Rav Nachman. We have a brayso that supports Rav Sheshes, brayso supports Rav Nachman. Tani Kavaseder Rav Nachman, the brayso that supports Rav Nachman. V'chaltim yashin yalita, old crop. Yachol yu Yisrael mitzapim l'chadus b'nei yashin shetichla. Maybe the old crop will be finished, and then everyone's waiting for the new crop to come in. Talmud Leimer, no. Ad by tvasa ad shetavay tvua meila. No, it's going to come even before you finish the old crop. Tani Kavaseder Rav Sheshes. Over there it says the Yashin Shekala because the old one was destroyed. That would support the one that says that it was the worms. The worms ate it. They destroyed it. The other brayso says that it goes to Rav Sheshes v'chaltim min atzvay Yashin. You'll eat the old crop. Yachol Yisrael mitzapim l'chadus b'nei Yashin shara. Maybe because it went bad, not because it was destroyed. It was eaten by the worms. No. The grain is going to come, and you still have the old grain there. This tells us that whatever's older is better. Yeah, there's people like to say this. This is only things that are meant to age. How do you know things that are not meant to age is also better? It doesn't matter what, it's always better. Even those things that are not meant to age, but when they're from Israel, they're better. You'll take the old ones out because of the new ones, and those you won't have where to store. Be so much crap. You're gonna have storage houses filled with the old, but they'll have the granaries that are filled with the new grain. You're gonna want to put it in the storage. Could we get rid of this just for this? Rav Papa says, everything that's old is better. Tamri, except for dates, beer, and herring, and sardines, probably. I don't know. Arsenal, small fish. You know what? And house guests.
Yes, and old and gold.
Okay.
There's a second volume halfway.
Thank you.
You finished this volume?
Yeah.
Okay.
So why does it have that?
Have a good day, Shalom.
It's a